Hello, beautiful morning to you and welcome to another edition of the Weekend Show. I am David Obokwasele.
My name is Oluchi Carlo. Happy Children's Day to you. And then when I say Happy Children's Day, please, there is no limit to age. Once there is a child inside of you and you acknowledge that there is a child, once in a while you want to play like a child, once in a while you want to have fun like a child, once in a while. Once you are tired of adulthood, once in a while, you know deep down you need a break. All the adults, let us take a break today. Happy Children's Day.
Happy Children's Day from me also, but the children might not be happy. You guys want to steal their day.
I don't care that we all want to take a break from adulthood.
But when
grandpa
he gets to sending them on errands, you know.
Don't they send me on errands too? We all are taking a break today, and today still, you know, when you talk about children, you still talk about the youth.
Yeah.
So today we want to talk about fostering cultural diversity. A lot of things have been happening in the society. There has been this stretch of ethnic intolerance, tribal intolerance. So we want to really talk about what's the role of the youth in ensuring that you as an Hausa person, you as a Yoruba person, I as an Igbo person, we can coexist and be happy.
And it's important we begin to talk about this kind of issues because there is no society where you not have people from different cultural differences. Even in Anambra here, where you have majority of Igbos, you still have a population that is a Gala. In your community, you still have people who are not from your village. So, and in some communities, there are communities where a particular village has a festival they celebrate that the other village do not join them to do. So these are the things that differentiate us. As far as there are more than one human being in an event, there will be differences. So it is important we begin to understand these things and understand how we can foster these cultural differences or diversity wherever we find ourselves. But today we'll be focusing on the role that the young people can also play in that aspect.
And our guest this morning is Comrade Ken Okoli. He's the ASATU Youth President. That's the Youth President of Anambra State. So you're welcome to the Weekend Show.
Thank you.
So when we talk about youth presidents, I want to know, do you deal basically just with, I know Anambra is an Igbo state, but from what David said, we have other people who are residents in the state who are not Igbos.
Yeah.
So do your office, does it also cover all these people, the residents? And
Non-indigenous as well.
Yeah, it's non-indigenous.
Yeah, the organization in which I represent as the leader is called ASATU Youth. And ASATU means Anambra State Association of Town Unions. And in Anambra State, we have 179 communities under it. That is the organization I represent. And you see, it is the indigenous youth. But then in our framework, we have non-indigenous youth in every community.
Exactly.
And in my administration, we've captured such set of people because it's very hard for you to go to any community. You will not see people who are not from that community. Residents there doing business and working. So those people are also part of the people who are leading. So they are also part of us. They will call them associate members of ASATU Youth.
So how do you ensure a better working relationship with these non-indigenous persons? How do you ensure that while they are living in Anambra, they feel at home? There was a time Anambra State had the moniker Home for All. How do you ensure that those people who are not in the Anambra by indigenship are also part of the development programs in Anambra, are also enjoying the hospitality in Anambra as ASATU?
First and foremost is to identify them.
Okay.
Identification is very key. When you identify them, how do you identify them? Get them form to fill. The youth leader of that town will have to get a form for them to fill. It will be announced in their various communities. Then when they fill the form, that form will reveal to us where they are from. Even how long they have been in the town, in that community. Now, after getting the form for them to fill, they return it. And even there should be a guarantor who is going to affirm that this person is known to him or her. Now, when the form is returned, then the next thing is to gather them for a meeting. Gather them for a meeting to let them know that there is a platform called ASATU Youth then one of the associate members of the associate youth is the non-indigenous youth. No matter where you come from, as long as you're not from Anambra, as long as you're not from that community, you're not an indigenous person. So what we do there is that from there, you ask them to get a leader who is going to represent them. So that through that leader, whatever government is doing, you will be able to disseminate the information to that leader and you will get to them. And encourage them to have a platform. WhatsApp platform has come to stay. Is a means through which a group of persons can be communicating regularly. So that WhatsApp platform, encourage them to have the WhatsApp platform or Telegram, so that the leader will be the one to be coordinating the activities of the non-indigenous youth. Why that person is still under the community youth leader. Okay. So with that formation, you see that it is very difficult for someone who is not from that town to come in, do anything, and go out without being identified. Let me give you an instance. Some time ago, a young man was caught in armed robbery and kidnapping, and he said something that is from my town, Nanka. Quite well, he speaks Nanka very well. But we investigated. Because how do you identify someone? If you say you're from Nanka, there must be a village you're from. Yes. And not just that village, there must be a kindred that you will be identified with. Within that kindred, then your family unit. What is the surname of your father? What is your surname? So with that, you'll be able to narrow it down and say, this is the family of these people. In 179 communities, that's how it is. Despite the fact that you could speak the language fluently and all that, but you must be identified to your family root. And when we did that cross-checking, we found out that the young man was once in our town, grew up in our town, but not from our town, from Ebonyi State. But learn how to speak the language. Of course, once you're a resident in that place, you'll be able to adjust and be able to live like them. Now, we had to do a disclaimer to tell the people of Anambra that young man is not from our town. Yes, he once lived in our town, served one person in our town. But because the person was found out that he had started having questionable character, he had to ask him to leave. You see? So the important thing there is that we must belong somewhere. Even if I go outside Anambra to live, what will tell me that that place I'm living in is organized if I'm identified and made me to be part of the people there, give me a sense of belonging so that I will be able to contribute to community development. Because if you give people a sense of belonging, then you make them to be part of the community. They will have a stake. But when you don't care, you don't show anything that they don't exist, then that is where their problem starts. And that is what I started in my administration is putting on ground to make sure that there is nowhere in Anambra where you say you're a young person who will not have a community that you'll be identified with, whether you're an indigene or non-indigene. That's the plan.
Okay. Oh, okay. Now that you've told us about what you're doing, I would like to know if you're to advise, because the level of tribal intolerance or cultural intolerance is becoming too stretchy for an already shaky democracy like Nigeria. So what's your advice to governments, not just southeast, south, northern governments? What do you think they can do to reduce this level of intolerance, especially among the youths? Because it's all over the place on social media now. What's your advice as a youth leader? How do you think the youths can be calmed down?
You know, there's something I believe in strongly, is that it's not just only to advise, but I have to also propose what should be the solution. Okay. That's solution-driven person. Okay. You know, in this country, we have a very major issue, value system. Value system. You see, you mentioned democracy. Democracy is a system of government where people elect who leads them. You know, I always look at that the word democracy as a foreign thing. But a government that gives people sense of belonging, participation, no doubt, it brings out the best from the people. But then the major problem we have in the country is lack of value system in our country. You watch somebody who, if I commit something now and my tribe will want to protect me, the other tribes will condemn me because we mirror it from the angle of where is he from? He's Igbo. Yeah, as long as he's Igbo, no, we can't get anything good from him. Now, if you are Yoruba, as long as you're from Yoruba, you can't get anything good from him. Or you are Hausa, you can't get anything good from him. Nigeria has not been able to identify and articulate a set of values that will guide us as our articles of faith in our own land called Nigeria. America has it, 10 core values. That's what defines, that's the set of values that define them as the people of America. UK, they have it. They have 10 core values that define them as United Kingdom people. But to shock you, no African nation has a set of values that define them. That is the problem young people are having. Because young people is just a transit thing. Okay, defining young people, depending on the institution that is defining it. You have United Nations definition. You have 15 to 29. You have 18 to 35. Anyone that is a young person today has a hope of moving from that bracket to become an elderly person or go to a working age where you're no longer in that bracket. Every young person. But the question is, during that period, that person is a young person. The person is expected to be enrolled in a school, go to religious institution, be it a Christian or a Muslim. But what are the values that are being taught to that person? You can even answer this question. What are those values that we are taught in school? None. What are those values that are taught that are being taught in religious institutions, even to today? None. That you can see that it cuts across the religious boundary, the tribal boundary that we have in this country. Because if you move out of the southeast, go to southwest, you move out of the your tribal boundary to another place. But within this country, what are those values that if you say a school in Adamawa, they are teaching it there. School in Anambra, they are teaching it. None. That's the problem. None. But we will not continue to complain because we take ourselves as leaders who do not need to complain to what has not been done, but what we should do to contribute and make the system better.
So what are those things that tell us?
We have been able to, in answer to you, we have been able to identify a set of values that will guide us as our articles of faith in Anambra project.
Okay. And what are these values?
There are 12. 1 is fear of God. 2, patriotism. 3, self-reliance. 4, discipline. 5, life. 6, truth. 7, liberty. 8, justice. 9, community. 10, dignity of labor. 11, religious and ethnic tolerance. That's why we're talking religious and ethnic tolerance. Then 12, love.
Okay.
A set of values that would define us as the light of the nation. I told someone this day that if there is anything that will change this country, it has to start from Anambra. Look at the slogan, light of the nation. It's not light for Anambra alone, but light for the nation. Also light for the world. Because every country is a template for governance. So defining us as Anambra, we look at it that at the time we start pushing these values, making sure we even see that these values are legislated in the House of Assembly, see that these values are included in the curriculum for the teaching of our students and pupils in school. Now see that even our religious institutions are taking these values to use them to teach the young people in their institutions. Now we'll start living it. Because if I tell you about truth and I lie before you, then that means I'm not living out what I'm preaching. So for the fact that I'm going to tell you that truth is part of our values, now I'm expected to first and foremost to be the person to live it out. So it's not, I'm not excluded.
Okay.
So an advocacy for the value orientation and reorientation of our people, we, those who are the advocates, have to also live it out. So we are talking about solution. We can't continue to be complaining. Complaint does not give us anything. Result is what we want. And you can't get result if you do not believe in what you're doing, perceive it as the solution, start doing it, and when you're doing it, you're seeing the result.
But it's
That's
too
the
late
process.
now, considering, do you think it can still be achieved now?
Why not? If you're saying now, let me tell you, in 20 years' time, you will no longer be in that bracket as a youth.
Okay.
But you ask yourself a question. If you did not partake in benefiting from the value teaching, value orientation, then won't you be happy to be part of those who would teach the young people? Is it because you did not benefit from it? So what we are saying is this. In Anambra, we have to lead in this direction first. And we cannot go to other states and do it. No, we have to start from here. Here, Governor said, Mr. Sulu said, he has to make this place livable and a prosperous homeland. This place cannot be a barrier ground for us anymore. I can't tell my children that this place or Nigeria or Anambra is rubbish. No, because I have a duty, a responsibility to make sure that this place is better than what I met it.
All right. Thank you very much, Comrade Ken Okoli. It's been a powerful few minutes with you.
Thank you.
Speaking about the role of youth in fostering cultural diversity. And from the way you've talked, I'm quite optimistic of a better society starting from
A must.
Anambra here.
You don't have option. No, see, it's a must.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is this. The America, the UK, we wish to be here in Nigeria. That most of our people keep running, saying Japa, Japa, Japa. For God's sake. It's not human being that made those places what they are today. Huh? Are they different from us? No. No. Humanity is one. We all are one, here to represent God. And if you cannot do it, and we expect people to come here to do it, then the change we want will not come. The change has to come within us.
I like
Thank you
the
very
fact
much.
that the change has to come within
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining
you.
us on the weekend show this morning. It's been nice having you.
It's a pleasure.
And from me, I learned a lot. It was quite summarized. I think at a point you exhausted all the questions I have in my mind
Sorry.
without even allowing me to ask them. I know I'm very grateful. And from me, I would say you've already heard it all. I don't know what else you're expecting to hear. It has to start from within. And don't say you're too old, because you will help build the next generation. All right, don't go anywhere. Weekend show will continue with the breakfast news.